Hello, gorgeous seekers, and welcome to Moon Magic for the Virgo full moon on February 27th, 2021. I am coming at you so sensitive, so open, so heart cracked open to what is next. Wow, we'll see if I don't tear up like 10 different times in this video. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll make it through. Collected. Who knows? Or maybe I won't. It's been a lot of growth and change, hasn't it? The last month has been very intense. The Aquarian energy that we just worked through, where most of the energy, the vast majority of the energy, was in Aquarius, and we had a Mercury retrograde. And everybody was moving through Aquarius. It was a very swift moving energy in many ways. Changes in perspective, information, viewpoint, breakthroughs were happening right and left for a lot of people. And you may have experienced that in your own unique way. I'm sure you did. But coming into this full moon, we're in Pisces season now. We'll be about a week into Pisces season when this full moon happens. And so the sun is at 8 degrees of Pisces. The moon is at 8 degrees of Virgo. They are opposing each other, having this beautiful conversation, and it's lighting up this axis of the Pisces Virgo axis. Now, this is one of, I think, the most potent energetic axes to work with. And I think this full moon is really important in the context of that Aquarius season we just worked with, because it was very electrical. It challenged us. It challenged us to rewrite stories. It challenged us to understand ourselves from a new perspective. It challenged us to grow, to be okay with things changing quickly. And it was intense. And like I said, that electrical energy and even that ability to detach and look at your life from a bigger perspective was there. And now coming back to Virgo Pisces and this Virgo full moon, it's really important. It helps us to understand ourselves and our journeys with a little bit more ease and trust and calm, and to kind of recover from the electricity that we've just been through. So a Virgo full moon is going to be very grounding and very helpful for getting in touch with ourselves intuitively in our physical and our spiritual. Because the Virgo Pisces axis is all about, the Virgo is about how we honor ourselves and our wholeness. Virgo is tied to the goddess. She's tied to rhythms of the land. She's tied to the connection between spiritual and physical, and how we channel our energy into the details of our lives, into the ways we act and move through the world. And of course, Pisces season is the other component of this, which is our ability to also let ourselves be a bigger part of something divine and beautiful and healing, to feel that we always have access to our intuition, to a greater force that holds us, and to coming back to a sense of faith and safety. And Virgo and Pisces both want us to feel safe, both in our spiritual and in our physical, and to feel whole in these two parts of it, and to feel allowed to exist. And so they are very medicinal. These are also really deep wisdom energies. So this is not about what looks good on the surface, what's quick and fast to get, the display you wear on the outside. This has to do with that quieter wisdom that honestly gives us the best information, but because it's quiet, we sometimes forget to listen to it. Now, when I felt through this full moon, and I have a Virgo moon, so I'm kind of excited to tap into this moon energy this month. When I tapped into this Virgo full moon, a couple of messages came through really strong before we even get into the aspects here. One was that this moon feels very fertile. So creativity is going to be potent during this time. And that's exciting. I think anytime that you're working with a moon that is supported and supportive of creativity, it always adds a sense of healing to it, right? I think any creative outlet, and there's so many different ones, it doesn't always have to be the tried and true arts. There's so many creative outlets in the world. They're often a way that we can process all that we have learned, right? And I think about all we've learned already in the first 2 months of 2021. Being creative and feeling that fertile creativity flow through your spiritual and your physical can be a really great way to understand where you are now and to ground into that, and to also heal and integrate anything you've needed to learn the beginning of this year. The second message that came through is that insights and clarity are going to come in very quickly with this Virgo full moon. After that Aquarius season, we had a Mercury retrograde, we had Saturn and Uranus squaring, we had a lot of challenging aspects, a lot of things that were challenging us to look at things in new ways, to express in new ways, to experience in new ways. But it was a little bit, because of the electricity of it and the swiftness of it, it can get you a little bit turned upside down. What is right? What is left? What is up? What is down? What is forward motion? And what is sitting still? And this full moon can help you get perspective on that and get clarity where maybe you weren't feeling so much clarity near the end of Aquarius season at the beginning of Pisces season. So I think in general, this moon is about coming back to our deep sense of faith, coming back to our deep sense of safety and wholeness within our thoughts and within our actions toward ourselves, and coming back to that quieter wisdom. It's always a good idea to check in with that, but this moon really amplifies that lesson. And like I said, really balances out all that air energy, which can be very intellectual and very quick to come up with ideas and thoughts and new ways of perceiving. But sometimes if we get really caught up in that more thought-based magic, which is important, it's powerful, it's potent, it can start to feel a little bit frazzling. So this moon brings us out of the word-based knowing and into that deeper knowing that often we can't even translate into words. Some of our best poets have gotten very close, but it's something that we each experience, I think, uniquely and in our own ways, in our own outlets, in our own visions. Just a couple other things. This moon is pretty well supported too. It's not about a whole bunch of challenging aspects. Venus is not too far away from the sun. Venus is at 2 degrees of Pisces. The sun is at 8 degrees. So Venus is very loosely opposing this full moon. And anytime you get, Venus involved here, you're going to have some support. You're going to have some support of what's beautiful and what's lovely and what makes you feel really good. Not just what you're supposed to say feels really good, not what you're supposed to prefer or supposed to like, but what you really feel good in. I love Venus in Pisces. I think this allows us time to, just in general, as Venus moves through Pisces this coming month, to fantasize and to have fun with our fantasies and to indulge in them a little bit, which I think can be really fun. The moon is also supported by Uranus. Uranus is trining this moon really strongly, and this is probably the strongest aspect of this full moon. Uranus is at 7 degrees of Taurus, while the moon is at 8 degrees of Virgo. So 2 earth signs, right? And they're having this great trine. And a trine is going to allow... I like this because Uranus has been challenging a lot of what's been going on in Aquarius. So it's been all about squares and impact and coming to a head with something that we need to address or shift. Now with this full moon trining Uranus, this allows us to move with the Uranian energy and to understand how in this river of life where things have been moving and the pieces have been moving, it's coming together. We're understanding what transformation is doing for us, not just what it's asking us to let go of, but also what it's building with us, also what it's concocting with us, also why it's okay to trust sometimes. One thing that has really come up as just a huge theme for the collective for a lot of people, for a high chunk of people in this last year, has been a little bit of the crumbling of trust. And it's very subtle, because you can still feel like, I do believe in something deeper, I do trust myself, and you can still feel like you're a little bit tentative to really let yourself fully flow into the next chapter, the next becoming, because you don't want to get too attached, because things keep changing. Things keep getting turned over or changed or shifted. And it's like what you thought was going to be the path then becomes a different path. And you start to pull back a little bit. And a lot of people have pulled back. They're a little nervous about something like Uranus, which is a change maker, getting involved. It's like, maybe it's not so exciting. But in this trine aspect with the moon, this is going to start showing us how we can trust a little more. So it's a very supported moon, which is beautiful, and there's a simplicity to it. It's coming back down to feel grounded and safe, so that we can open up and feel grounded and safe while we explore the next big chapter. Let's pull our card for this full moon. I'm so excited. Like I said, I love Pisces season. Oh, card fell in my lap. 7 of Swords. Trust, right? 7 of Swords always, is one of those cards. Do you trust yourself? Do you trust those around you? Do you trust the process? Do you feel like you have to look over your shoulder a lot? Or you feel like you're getting away with something? Or like you are like working behind the scenes to try and get something to happen, but maybe you're not allowed to have it. I want to pull another card with that 7 of Swords. That card, whenever it shows up, it's like, okay, where do you feel that you are looking over your shoulder all the time? Where do you feel like you're not allowed to be at peace, to be curious, to be outright and open about what it is that you want? Where you feel like you have to kind of suppress your deeper wishes, dreams. King of Pentacles. Love it. The 7 of Swords is always going to have you look at that, where you feel you have to edit yourself, hide yourself, sneak around. And I mean, that's not always about, literally sneaking around, right? I find that the dynamic we have with ourselves is we feel like we have to sneak around, not wanting to express our fullest version of ourselves. And the 7 of Swords is always going to speak to that. So this is an important card just to acknowledge, if you've been holding some tension, if you've been holding some uncertainty, some worry, some fear, some resistance, because it's been moving so quickly, and you started to feel like you can't trust yourself, or maybe, and other people too. If we don't trust ourselves, it's harder to trust other people. This is a moment to heal and to slow down and notice this part of ourselves that's worrying, that's spinning, that's layering on the weaponry to stay safe, to disarm other people and disarm situations so that you will be safe. It's a somewhat paranoid card. And whenever it shows up, it's just that part of ourselves where we're holding that tension. Take a moment. Now, the other card that wanted to come through is King of Pentacles. This is tied to Taurus. Uranus and Taurus right now is the big energy, right? King of Pentacles is really solid, really stable. He doesn't waver and falter and go this way and that way, right? This guy plants some roots and invests in that spot and says, I want to do this for the long haul. That is what King of Pentacles is all about. Deep root systems, deep stability, deep commitment, consistency. And when I think about King of Pentacles, it's that groundedness in what really matters. It's not about spreading ourselves thin and being fractured and in 100 different pieces, trying to be 100 different people, trying to live 100 different lives, trying to keep it all together. That is a really fractured, very quick mental space where a million thoughts can fly through our mind at once. And there's that lack of groundedness. And like I was saying, with a Virgo full moon, this is going to be about how whole we feel in ourselves. if we've been feeling fractured and thrown in 100 different directions and armored up and worried, right? Which is understandable. We're getting called during this moon to notice that part of ourselves and come back to a sense of wholeness and stability, deep root systems, deep commitment to that root system, to maintaining that root system, to maintaining our connection to our deeper knowing, our deeper spiritual health, our deeper physical health, and let everything else drop away. So like I said, this is really healing moon because I do feel like, you know, if you've been at the top of a mountain, you're an eagle, you're beautiful, majestic eagle, and you're flying, and a lightning storm comes, and you're far from your eyrie, and it's a crazy storm, and you're just getting thrown right and left. When you get back to that safe eyrie, that safe space, you need to take a second and reset to understand what that storm just showed you, and honor and love yourself. Create, you know, this moon, soothe yourself, nurture yourself. Virgo energy is going to be about the little details that make you feel really good. Venus also really likes little details that make you feel really good and really like indulgent in a really positive way. So pay attention to the details in your days around this full moon. You know, make sure that you're doing all those little activities, either can be self-betrayal or root system nurturing. And you can kind of think about these two cards in that way. The other thing is that, where was I going with this? Yes, pay attention to the details. Let yourself dream. Come back to your inner knowing. Drop anything that's not fitting in there. And take some deep breaths. That's all this moon is asking for us for right now. So important. That's not, and you know, the thing is, we think about a rest as like a something that is a non-thing. It's a non-action. It's a non-creative moment. Oh yeah, that was the other thing I was going to say. Also, have fun creating. If you enjoy doing something just totally for fun and playing with color, playing with design, playing with sound, words, whatever, go for it. But rest and incorporation and letting ourselves play is the most important of the actions we can take in life. It really is. So don't deny yourself that during this full moon. It's very important. We're going to be doing a very specific activation for this full moon closer to the day. I do that over on my Patreon. We really have fun diving in, and we always do our weekly chats. So it's a really great space, and it's a beautiful community. If you're looking to just get a little more support and hang out with me, you also find out a lot more about my personal journey over there. So I will leave that link below. I'm wearing PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry. She custom made these pieces for me out of citrine because it's my favorite stone. For my wedding last year, but she has so many beautiful pieces. So go check out her Etsy shop, and you can also find me on my website and on Instagram. So I'll leave all of those goodies below. Have a blessed and safe and nourishing full moon in Virgo, and I will see you so soon for the March readings and for more moon magic ahead.